بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. عن أنس رضي الله تعالى عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم جاء إلى سعد بن معاذ بن عبادة رضي الله تعالى عنه، فجاءه بخبز وزيت فأكل، ثم قال صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم: أفطر عندكم الصائمون وأكل طعامكم الأبرار وصلت عليكم الملائكة. Hadith of Anas ibn Malik radiallahu ta'ala anhu. He said that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam visited Sa'd ibn Ubadah. This is of course in Medina. Sa'd ibn Ubadah is one of the leaders of the Ansar in Medina. He's one of the chiefs and one of the early people to embrace Islam, amongst the earliest individual to embrace Islam with the Prophet ﷺ back in Mecca, and one of the very few trendsetters, as they call them, السابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised from the early companions that embraced Islam, whether that is in Mecca or in Medina. Sa'd ibn Mu'adh, Sa'd ibn Ubadah, was very generous, as it is the case with all of the Ansar, and often they would invite the Prophet ﷺ for a meal. And in this time, Sa'd presented the Prophet ﷺ with bread and olive oil to eat. And when the Prophet ﷺ finished eating, he made a dua, and he says ﷺ to Sa'd ibn Mu'adh, may you be always one of those who feed the fasting people. May أكل طعام أفطر عندكم الصائمون. And وهذا فيه دعاء عجيب سبحان الله. The Prophet ﷺ is always in the concepts, always connects us with that which is relatable in our physical world with that which is ahead of us in the next world, in the akhirah. Always, there's always that connection and correlation between what we do here at any given time, place, using every opportunity Allah Ta'ala gave us, except that it does have a connection correlated directly with what is ahead with the akhirah. And look, here's the Prophet ﷺ is connected both feeding the Prophet ﷺ. Allah, he made dua for Sa'd ibn Ubadah for Allah Ta'ala to include him amongst those who are always, that will be listed amongst those who would feed the fasting. And what is the importance of that? Prophet ﷺ says that if you feed a fasting individual, his reward is granted by Allah Ta'ala for that beautiful act of worship of fasting. But equal reward will go to you as well for feeding him, for feeding that person to break his fast. Upon breaking his fast, with your food, with your meal, he gets his reward. Equal reward goes to you as well. This is the dua of the Prophet ﷺ. أفطر عندكم الصائم وأكل طعامكم الأبرار. And may you be always amongst those who will feed the righteous. Why? Because subhanallah, the presence of the Prophet ﷺ, and he is on top of the chain when it comes to righteousness ﷺ. And here he is. You're blessed by the presence of the righteous. You're also blessed by their dua when they make dua for you. When they come to your home, they come with the blessing of being in the company of angels because they're always in the dhikr of Allah. Righteousness is not a claim. Righteousness is a set of subhanallah, adopted disciplines, whether with Allah Ta'ala, with the people, with oneself. All of it is balanced, and that's what gives righteousness. Righteousness is not just a claim. Rather, it's a set of disciplines that one set himself to adopt. You adopt righteousness with Allah Ta'ala by upholding His commands and staying away from His prohibitions, being connected with Allah Ta'ala through all of the mediums of acts of worship, salah, wudu, dhikr, Quran, fasting. And when it comes to your ties with the people, you're always there to be of service, and also you always preventing harm to be extended from your end to others. This is what righteousness is, a series of disciplines to be upheld. And that's why a righteous person in your presence, it brings blessings alongside with that righteous person. That's why the essence of this dua, the Prophet ﷺ said, and وَأَكَلَ طَعَامَكُمُ الْأَبْرَارِ. May your meal to be always consumed by the righteous people, pious people. And why? Because you're the one to benefit from feeding the pious and be in the presence of the pious and invite the righteous. Subhanallah. وَصَلَّتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ. And may the angels pray for you all the time. As-salah huna ad-du'a. Meaning when the angels make dua for you, your dua is bound to be answered. Either or. As the Prophet ﷺ says, when a person makes a dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to grant that supplication for certainty. The only thing you need to put next to that dua is complete certainty that Allah ta'ala is going to reply, is going to grant you that supplication. That is the only thing you need to. However, it's not going to come in the form that you necessarily asked. Not is going to manifest exactly how you wanted it. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always chooses the absolute best of scenarios, of choices for us. Always. You make a dua, oh Allah, I want this, that, or the other. Oh Allah, protect me from this and that and the other. As long as you attach to that supplication, that dua, complete confidence and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He is going to grant you that supplication, that is the only thing you should worry about. From that point out, the Prophet ﷺ says, you will have that supplication answered in one of three ways. Either exactly how you wanted it, because Allah Ta'ala with His infinite wisdom and knowledge knows that it is the best answer to your supplication. That's why He let it happen exactly how you asked it. Or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will convert that exact supplication that you wanted in Him, granting you, for instance, this thing. He will flip it and repel something that is of equivalent value but in danger and harm that is about to afflict you, and Allah removes that. Or third, Allah will keep that supplication and the answer of that supplication, and He will preserve that and keep it for you. Comes the day of judgment where you will really need relief desperately, then comes the dua, and it comes. So He says, you will benefit from your supplication 100% for as long as you have the total confidence in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is when you make a dua, let alone when the supplication is made for you by the angels. That's why the Prophet ﷺ says, and may the angels pray for you all the time. فنسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يرزقنا وإياكم العلم النافع والعمل الصالح. صلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد والحمد لله رب العالمين.